The biggest regret about the build here behind me is that I didn't do enough research before we did the mods, and yes, we have made mistakes. So today we're going to be installing a brand new Oricom UHF in the Prado, and we're also going to be explaining why we've relocated the antenna to the back, why you guys should think about doing it as well, and we'll be going through exactly what a transcooler does to your temperatures when you're driving and towing. These are some of the things that I wish I knew sooner, and having 1 year experience full-time travel on the road, it's definitely a steep learning curve, and the purpose of this video is to somehow transfer this information of me learning the hard way to you guys and hopefully help someone out there to make a better decision about mods they're putting on their car. So strap in guys and enjoy.
I'm Keelan and this is Sarah. We have been fishing, surfing, full driving our way around Australia for the past year now. Meet Percy and Keith Urban, our trusty steeds. Subscribe to join our adventure.
G'day legends, welcome back to another midweek episode. So today we're going to be doing part B of Percy 2.0 rebuild. If you missed part 1, I'll link it after this video, so don't stress. But today we're going to be installing all this beautiful Oricom gear. Like I said in the last vid, full disclaimer, we reserve the right to say whatever we want about a product. This whole channel is based off integrity and we plan to keep it that way. With all the formalities out of the way guys, I have started the install already. I've already installed the aerial and I've also half run the cable to the front of the car, and let's get cracking. So like I said yesterday, I've actually mounted the aerial, and this is a K-on bracket that allows us to mount the Oricom aerial here. What I did was remove the spare wheel. I've run the cable behind the spare wheel through the grommet that actually has the reversing camera cable going through it at the moment. And come around here, I'll show you where I've run it. So I've then run the cable through the back of the door skin here, and through this little grommet takes us into the actual car itself. Don't mind the mess. Like I said, I had to pull a lot of panels off to get this cable through, and it's probably one of the toughest things about installing a UHF in your car. With all that out of the way, let's get on to actually installing the unit. Alright, so this would probably have to be the most annoying part of installing UHF, is running the cables through the paneling. We want to make it pretty neat and tidy and have a bit of pride in our work. So one thing you'll definitely need is a roll of tape, and this is something that is often overlooked. Electrical tape is always super handy stuff to have. The reason why, if you have another piece of cable or wire that's stiff enough to actually poke through cavities to sort of snake out your run, all you have to do is tape on your coax cable coming from your aerial. It's a lot easier way of getting things done. So yeah, always carry electrical tape and a stiffish piece of cable. So I've just poked this through. As you can see, I'm using the cup holder as a bit of an access point there. I swear I'm not hungry. All right. Now I'm just going to pull the cable through the cavity and out this part here. So there you have it. Got this part done. I'm going to feed it down through this section. Another good thing about electrical tape, if you get a little cut, it's actually a band-aid as well. Just like that. Not a band-aid. Yeah, it is. Took me 4 years of electrical training to learn that.
We're not poor, we can afford band-aids.
They're 10 meters away. I'm not going to go waste my time and get them. Alright, so the issue I'm now facing is that the cable antenna, I've run it obviously a very long way, all the way from the back door, and by the time you go up and down and around panels and stuff, the cable run is quite long. So pretty much I've got a short cable here. So there's a few things you can do. You can obviously probably get little patch-in leads for these. But because I'm removing my old UHF, I'm going to extend it with the cable that come off my old UHF. And the plan is to continue to run it through here and then obviously hide the unit up underneath the wheel well so no one can see it, but still have that handheld with all your buttons on it. It's all really easy to use right there in your face. And that way we can keep the dash really sort of cluster free. There's nothing worse than cables and just crap going everywhere in your car. So yeah, so I've got to have to extend this, which sucks. that's one bit of feedback I'd probably give Oricom. And like I said at the start of this video, we can say whatever we want, and that'd be one of the things so far. If we could just make that antenna cable just a couple meters longer, that'd be really appreciated. But then on the other hand, people that are only running it, you know, not very far, they'll have this massive loom of cables they need to put somewhere. So I guess it's a double-ended sword, but if they could make this little coax antenna cable a little bit longer, that would be awesome. Next thing, I'm gonna unbox the DTX 420 and yeah, show you what comes with the box. All right, so we're now at this is my workbench. It's a $30 SpinFX table from Anaconda. She's a bit bloody wobbly. Anyway, so you get the box, comes a little bit like this, and inside the box you actually get a unit. I've just been mucking around with the unit slide. So one really cool thing about, one thing that I really like so far about the unit, it comes off this little slide, but I was mucking around before and I've actually locked it into this little metal housing. That's the unit there, but the way they've set it up is so it slides in and out, which is really cool. So you can actually, obviously you got fixing holes and stuff, mount your unit, slide the Oricom actual physical unit into it, and yeah, it's easy to mount that way, and it saves you pretty much going under there with the whole unit and trying to, you know, muck around with freaking screwing and cable tying and stuff. So another thing comes with, that's the handheld unit obviously, and then your cable just simply screws in like any other UHF, which is good. Comes with a power lead and an extra fuse, which is awesome as well. So if you do accidentally have power on this and touch active to negative, obviously you're going to blow the fuse straight away. So they've supplied another one as well, which is cool. It prevents people like us making a mistake and then having to drive all the way to bloody J-Car or, you know, super cheap just to get a fuse with your car to pieces. Your power cord just plugs straight in and then you just active and neutral. I'll show you exactly where I take my active and neutral off as well in the car. There's a way that's really easy to do in Prados. I'm not too sure about other cars. Obviously you want to have this wide, that active and negative off accessories, so you've actually physically got to have the key in on accessories to use it. That way overnight and on your trips away, you're not actually drawing power off your secondary battery overnight, and it's going to keep your fridge going, things like that, a lot longer. So yeah, we'll have this one coming off accessories. Also it comes with a little clip for the handheld unit here. It's a physical clip, so you've actually got to physically slide it in. However, like I said before, Oricom have been nice enough to provide us a little magnetic one, which is so good because we're lazy. It's going to be good just to be able to chuck it at this thing and it'll just stick in there. So we're going to have good fun mounting that. Alright, so this might look like a bit of a mess, but I've pulled 12 volts off. I'll show you actually. I'll show you where I've pulled 12 volts off of. Just there. Don't know if you guys can see that, but on the back of the center console. And I actually found that the easiest place to grab it, because to actually undo all the panels and stuff to get to that little connection is really easy. And then you literally just tuck the cable along from the back underneath here, and then I've routed it sort of through the top here, and I've literally just got two cables here that I've connected to the 12 volt SIGI outlet. I'm about to crimp on these two crimps. A lot of people do things differently, so for me, I just use crimps. A lot of people swear by soldering things. As an electrician, we run this on 240 volt things, connections, so I'm sure it'll be fine off a small load, off an Oricom UHF. So that's the reason I've done this, quick and easy. And then all I do, cable tie it up and then tuck it up under the wheel well all the way out from the pedals. And then I'm also going to mount the Oricom, the actual box itself, underneath there. And then I'm thinking about just running the UHF out the top of here, and then putting it back onto where my old UHF thing has gone. So that seems to be working well for us.
So that's the result there. They're all connected up. So this little end actually plugs into the UHF itself, and that will have accessory power because the cigarette outlet only works on accessories. So yeah, quite a good little system.
Oh, so finally, the install was done. It took a lot longer than I thought it would, as it always does. There's always complications and little bumps in the road that you've got to navigate. So our main navigation was the antenna cable actually not reaching exactly where I wanted to put the UHF unit. So I buggered it up a few times trying to join coax cable and stuff. Ended up just going into J-Car and buying a specific little cable to extend it, which is all good now. She's in, I've tested it, it works. I can't wait to show you what I've done. It's neat and tidy and tucked out of the way. So if we come in here, I'll show you what I've mounted. So as you can see here, I've mounted the UHF box right there. It's out of the way, my foot still sit here. It doesn't really inhibit it at all. And then where I had my old UHF, I've mounted the little magnetic clip, which is really cool. You can almost throw it on. It's really cool. I like that. And then if we start her up, so like I said, this is a dual receiver. Obviously you've got everything your normal UHF would have. You can have 2 different channels running, which is really cool. You can have your convoy channel as well as having it on, say, 40 for trucks. Yeah, it's a really nice little bit of kit. All the buttons are really robust and it's solid, you know. It definitely feels like it's good quality. It's heavy, and like I said, that clip is just outstanding. So I love that. And the box is nice and out of the way. I don't know if you can see my foot there, but it doesn't touch the box at all. So I hope you enjoyed the UHF install. So now we're going to discuss how much difference the transcooler has made. So to install the transcooler, it probably took me about an hour and a half to do with really little mechanical experience, you guys can probably tell. That was in part A, obviously we're in part B now, but a lot of questions about how much difference did it make in the comments of the last video. So far we've had the transcooler in Percy the Prado for 2 weeks now. So I can tell you guys that it's made an average of 25 degrees difference. So that's massive. So before we were sitting at 85, 90 degrees. Now we're sitting roughly 65 to 75 degrees when towing on the highway. We've even tested it out with the stop starting when your torque converter and your transmission's really working hard. We got temps of up to 80 degrees. However, before, when we were doing stop start driving, we were seeing temps of 105 degrees in the trans. So it has made a massive difference to us. It's kept the trans temperatures down really low, and I definitely recommend it. It's probably our #1 towing mod that we would do and recommend to anyone out there that doing a trip around Australia towing a caravan with an automatic transmission, of course. So it's quite low cost. We'll get into the costings later. And like I said, it only took about an hour and a half, 2 hours to install. So it doesn't take much, and it's certainly not a hard mod to do on your car. So as I said at the start of the video, we have regrets. The biggest regret about the transcooler is that I didn't get it in early enough, because it's made such a big difference to our car, and it's relatively low cost and low time to actually install the mod itself. I wish that I did it a lot sooner, and we've driven 60,000 kilometers on our trip so far, and I wish I had it from the 0 kilometer mark. All right guys, let's move on to why we've relocated the aerial to the back of Percy the Prado. I'm gonna go through why I've relocated the aerial to the back of the car. So we're going to be talking performance, safety, and also practicality. As you guys saw, we've relocated the aerial using a K-on bracket. This bracket bolts straight to the rear wheel housing. It's pretty much purpose built for the Prado, and yeah, we love it. It's a good quality bit of product. So this is our 3 dBi antenna. Let's firstly talk about why 3 dBi. 3 dBi is really an all-rounder. Its purpose is it can shoot over sort of hillier areas where you can get a lot higher dBi that are going to get you that range when you're doing your long flat driving. So horses for courses, you choose. So the reason we've gone to 3 dBi is obviously because we're doing all sorts of conditions. It's never quite flat and it's never hilly. It's always a mix of both. So having the 3 dBi, you still get plenty of range, but you're still not obstructed by hills and stuff. So another reason why we chose the 3 dBi is because it actually sits underneath the roof height, meaning we can still go through drive-thrus, get our KFC and have no problems at all. And if there is undercover parking, we can reach under and the aerial's not going to be hitting the roof. So pretty well, this dBi, 3 dBi antenna comes down to performance and also practicality as well. However, going back to the reasons why we've relocated the aerial, is the first one being performance. We've actually mounted it 300mm higher than it was on the bull bar, meaning we're going to get longer range. I'm not too sure how much range that would be. I'll leave that one to the UHF specialist. We haven't tested it. But another reason why we've relocated it here is because of safety. So obviously when you're driving, you're doing 100 k's an hour towing a van, the last thing you want is something obstructing your vision. And I know it's just an antenna, it's not enough to actually block and obstruct your vision too much, but just having it in your vision all the time is definitely taxing. And ever since I took it off the front of the bull bar, I've noticed a massive increase in just how easy it is to drive. So you got nothing in your vision, it just clears the whole. And to be honest with you guys, this wasn't the main reason why we've relocated the aerial. This is just a byproduct of why we've done it. It's a massive increase in how easy it is to see out the front now. Pretty well, you don't have something in your vision all the time, and I've only noticed it since we've removed it. So you do gain a little bit there as well. The last thing I'll talk about is practicality. So when you're driving down bush, tight little tracks, which we do a lot of the time, bush bashing, where the aerial was initially on the front quarter of the bull bar, it would literally hit all the trees, and eventually the aerial did get very damaged. So they are all on spring mounts, but when your aerial is just copping blow after blow because you are going through these tight tracks, your aerial is not going to last as long. So practicality wise, having it on the back here, like I said, it's nice and streamlined. It's not above the profile of the car, it's not sticking out, it's not hitting trees. Not only are we going to get more longevity out of the antenna, but it's also not annoying when you're bloody hitting the trees when it's mounted on your bull bar. That's one thing that we did it for. We were just so sick of just clipping that antenna on every freaking low-hanging branch there is. All up, like I've said, practicality wise, massive plus having it on the back. You do gain some performance, and from a safety perspective and aspect, you're actually gaining a little bit of safety because there's not something in your vision all the time. I know that the safety thing is quite small, however, I have noticed that since we removed it. Anyway, let's go in the cab and talk a little bit about why we've chosen to go with oricom. So we've shown you where we've installed the UHF. It's time to talk about why we've chosen this specific product. So this is the oricom DTX 4200X. This is their premium UHF, so top of the wazzer. And the reason we've gone with this is firstly because oricom is such a reputable company. We've read a lot of reviews, done a lot of research, and there's very little bad reviews about this UHF. So pretty well, it is a lot larger and heavier than your conventional UHF. However, that is because they've inbuilt a much larger speaker into this. It's IP54, so you can splash water, dust, whatever. It's got an easy to see LCD display. This one's got a much better backlit screen, and like I said, the speaker that's inbuilt on this one is a lot louder. And you don't have to actually turn it up very much. However, if you are a bit deaf, like I probably will be in about 80 years time, I can crank this one right up and you'll have no problem hearing it at all. It's very heavy, so it's built to last, and like I've shown you before, the magnetic clip is really cool. I can pretty much throw it and it'll go back into position, so it's really cool. The cable too, I don't know if you can see that, but even the sheathing on the cable is heavy duty. It's a lot thicker, it's durable, and it's going to last. So that's the reason why we've gone with the oricom. I've explained why we've chosen a 3 dBi antenna, but one thing I haven't shown you is one feature that I really like about the oricom product. So let's go have a look at that now. Another reason why I really like this UHF is because of the aerial as well, or antenna, whatever you want to call it. This is what I like most about it. If we just unscrew this little dongle here, we grab the big UHF, and on the bottom of it has a little screw, so we can turn this into a monster of a antenna. So you just screw it on. See if I can do it with one hand. So it just screws on like that, and boom, we've got a 6.5 dBi antenna. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's mounted up super high, so we're going to get really good reception with that. Really long distance, so I think predominantly we'll actually just run the short stumpy one, but I can definitely see if we're doing a long trip through the desert, somewhere there's not a lot of trees around overhead, we'll definitely slap the big one on and use that. So that's really cool. We're back in the cab, and it's unfair for us just to talk about the pros of a product. We have to talk about the cons as well, and that comes down to research and weighing up your options. So like I said before, we love certain things about the oricom DTX 4200X. However, like I said, the profile of this handheld unit is a slightly bigger
It is slightly bigger, so it's probably 20 mil bigger. It's probably not going to fit in as tighter spaces. It is heavier as well. It's probably not going to come into my GVM calculation, but it probably weighs, I'm not even going to weigh it, but I'm not even going to speculate how much it weighs, but it is slightly heavier as well. But like I said, it does come down to build quality. It does feel like a really robust bit of kit. Throwing it back at this magnetic clip, so let's see how long it bloody lasts. Moving on. So Oricom also have handheld units, and the reason why we've opted to get a few 5-watt handheld units is because when we're reversing the car in and stuff, the van is quite long when you include the drawbar, and Sarah's got a little voice, so when she's telling me right hand down, left hand down, sometimes I can't hear and I get misconstrued. So having this is a massive game changer, and like I said in part A, the reversing into caravan parks and tight spots is definitely a fight starter. And having this, thank God Oricom, you're going to save our relationship. And we've got better communications now. What do they say in a relationship? You need the 3 C's or something. Commitment, communication, and something else. This unit has a little LCD screen. The antenna screws on and off, and we're just keeping it in this brand new addition to the car too. We can talk about this. So we've got now a dash organizer. So before we were putting stuff just everywhere. We hit a bumpy track and it'd all fall off the dash. Now we've got a dash organizer. I keep a handheld in there. We keep a handheld in the back as well. Really good bit of kit. This one's from Grab Me Gear. I'll put the link for it down in the description below. You can put your phone up there. You can put sunnies, whatever you want. Just Velcros down to anything you've already got on your dash, whether that just be a bit of organization on the dash, keeps it clutter free. And that UHF is pissing me off now.
The other good thing about handheld is that your passenger, if you're in a convoy.
So another great thing about the UHF handheld is that when you're in a convoy of cars, which happens from time to time, your passenger can actually have a UHF and be able to communicate with the convoy as well. Also, you can take these out in the boat with you. So
tell them the story about Warra when Craig got stuck out in the boat and we used those.
Oh yeah. When we're up at Warra Station in WA, Craig went out in the boat and he had one of these, and everyone on the beach had another UHF, and every now and again we'd check in, make sure Craig out in the boat's going all right. It is an old dinghy he's got, and one day he was out there and he was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 Ks out. He went to pull the ripcord on his old Mariner engine on his dinghy, and the ripcord snapped. What do you do then? It was like massive swell, and he was out at sea, offshore breeze too, so you could imagine he just kept drifting out to sea. He got on the radio, radioed in, and thankfully what actually happened is he actually repaired, I don't know how he's done it, but he's restrung the ripcord and somehow repaired the rope, taken the engine apart out at sea, fixed it. However, he'd messaged in on the radio, someone had already gone out to help him, which is a bit of a story in itself, but pretty much he would have been buggered without one of these things. So they do come in handy. That's just one story. I'm sorry if I went off topic and got a bit long-winded, but that is one story where one of these can probably save your life. So anyway, let's stop talking about the UHF. Let's talk a bit about the Keelan gear and why we've added extra weight to the car. I have installed some Keelan products that I'm pretty proud to show off. I really stand behind this company, and we don't have a discount code or anything for you like that. We just choose to run this company because it's Australian made. In part A, you might have seen me install this. In part A, you might have seen me install this shelf, and we are adding a few kilos extra weight, but I think it's weight well spent. So we do have some outback drawers here, and these are chock-a-block full of stuff, so pretty well. We've run out of space here, and like I said, when you're on the road, you leave home on your big trip around Australia, you pack pretty lightly, and as time goes on, you slowly accumulate more and more things, and for us, we've just simply run out of space. So this Keelan shelf up here, it's made out of aluminium, but it's going to shelve all the little bits and pieces that I can't fit in the drawers. Like at the moment, I haven't actually sorted out what I'm going to put up there, but all my surfboard fins, they're nice and light, so I don't mind stacking a bit of weight up there. Hats. We've actually got the other Oricom 5-watt UHF up here as well for now. And slowly over time, I'll just chuck more and more stuff up there. So super proud to have that. Talking a little bit about the wires, and hopefully that helps someone out there for not making a regret like we did, especially if you're doing a big trip around Australia. This is your Chariot, and like I said, we have made mistakes and we do have regrets. Running steel rims instead of alloy rims, that's a massive mistake. A lot of weight just sitting here in the rim. There's a lot of things that we still have regrets about.
However, the products that we've shown you in the last 2 videos, we definitely have no regrets about them. They're definitely making Percy the Prado a lot smarter tourer. However, at the end of this video, I did say we're going to talk about cost. So I'll put the costs on the screen right now about all the gear that we've installed. There you have it, guys. We've poured out our learnings from a year on the road so far and the regrets we've made. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash the subscribe button and drop us a like as well. It definitely helps us a lot to make content like this. Thanks for watching, guys. Go watch this video. This is part A if you missed it. And if you've already seen that, go watch this adventure. It's one of our favorite where we're exploring Kangaroo Island. Thanks, legends, and we'll see you next time.